all of our legal researchers out there. My name is Jessica Almeida. I am a librarian here at UMass Law, and today we're doing our second session in the summer internship series. And this one is about practical law, Westlaw's practical law, and Lexis's practical guidance. As always, I like to start on the library website and just mention our contact information right here. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly or the law librarians at lawlib@umassd.edu. I'm going to go to quick links. We'll click on Westlaw Precision and we will go into Westlaw Precision. Now there are two different ways that you can get into practical law. Let me explain first what practical law is. So practical law is practitioner materials. It's documents that are written by attorneys for attorneys. So you can go up here to the top where you see Thomson Reuters products, and you can click here and go to practical law. The link is right there, or you can go under content types and click on practical law. Now, the way I would recommend using this product is that you go in and do some exploring. If you have an intern in a specific practice area, it might be good to know if there are documents, checklists, that sort of thing for the specific area of law that you're working in. So here at the US Home, we see this page is organized by practice areas. It's also is organized by sectors, resource types. These are the different types of documents that are available through practical law. And then, of course, jurisdictions. All right. So when you are done exploring, you can also do some searching. So for tonight's example, we're going to do a search. We're going to pretend that we are working at an internship in Massachusetts. And my supervising attorney asked me to do some research on how to terminate a commercial lease. So there's a few things I could do. I could go into practice areas. I could look at resource types. I could just go ahead and put some key terms in my search box. But as we all know from last week, I like to drill down a little bit. I like to pre-filter. So what I'm going to do first is I know my jurisdiction is Massachusetts, so I'm going ahead and do that. And then here in the search box, I'm going to use my terms and connectors and put together a Boolean search. So let's see. So terminate, the reason why I put the exclamation point at the end is because I'm looking for like terminate or termination. So different endings to that word. Within 10 of commercial, within 10 of lease. Okay, we're going to go ahead and click the search button and see what our results are. So we received 29 documents. Now, if you have too many results, always remember to go to the left-hand side. You can search within your results. You can add more key terms. You can look at the types of resources. So they have practice notes, standard documents, checklists, they have toolkits. You can look at the practice area. We might want to say commercial litigation. And then, of course, jurisdiction, we have already narrowed it down to Massachusetts, and that's why we have 29 documents. Let's take a look at our results. Now, the first one is key considerations for terminating commercial leases, overview Massachusetts. So we know that our search is right on point. This is a practice note, which is maintained and is for the jurisdiction of Massachusetts. Let's click the link and take a look at what a practice note looks like. So here you'll see it says maintained. What it means by maintained is that attorneys are continuously updating this document. So it is good information. Here you have a scope. So this practice note provides an overview of key issues relating to early termination of commercial leases of real property located in Massachusetts. So like I said, right on point. On the left-hand side, you'll notice the table of contents. So here is where you can, the different sections of the document, and they are hyperlinked, so you can click on each one and go directly to that section. So some of the things that you'll see are reasons for early lease termination, Massachusetts law considerations, early termination concerns for landlords, early termination concerns for tenants. So depending on if your client is the landlord or the tenant. Documenting the early lease termination, and then of course there's a section on alternatives, and as well as strategies for the tenant and strategies for the landlord. So if we can go and just click into one of these sections. It takes us right there. You will also notice that other things are hyperlinked in the document. So third-party approvals required to terminate the lease. So if you want to learn about the third-party approvals, you can go ahead and right-click and then open that link in a new tab. You'll also see that they have put other practice notes in here so that if you need to continue your research or you want to continue learning more about this topic, you can go ahead and look at those as well. Also really nice is that if they mention a case or a statute, they hyperlink it as well. So it makes it easy to go directly to the case or statute. All right. I'm going to go back and I'm going to take a look at one of the checklists that they mentioned. So I'm going to go back to, let's see, resource type. And this time I'm going to click checklist. Now, remember, in Westlaw, you always have to hit that blue apply button, so it'll apply the limiters to your search. Okay, so really what this checklist is a state comparison chart, and let me show you what that looks like. Okay. So notice that this was last updated June 16, 2023, so about last week. It includes many states, as you can see. It gives you a scope note. So this chart provides a state-by-state overview of laws describing commercial landlord's duty to mitigate damages if a tenant defaults on its lease. So it gives you a little bit of information here, the theories of mitigation, drafting lease clauses, and then it talks about how to use this specific chart. So it's only a starting point, but you can go to the state and then it tells you, is the commercial landlord under a duty to mitigate damages if a tenant defaults, and who has the burden of proof? So it does its best to give you information to answer both of those questions, and then it does it for each state. So if we were to go to Massachusetts, excuse my scrolling. Here we go. No, there are exceptions related to the termination of the lease. There is no requirement that a commercial landlord mitigate damages unless the lease is terminated. And then if you can see, they cite the case where this information is taken from. And then of course it gives more information as well. Okay. So that is practical law, kind of in a nutshell. Next, I'm going to take a look at Lexis's practical guidance. Let's see. So let's go into Lexis. Westlaw's practical law and Lexis's practical guidance are very similar in what their purpose is. So both of them are practitioner materials, so materials created for attorneys by attorneys. There's a lot of forms, checklists, um, really easy to use informative practice notes in both of them. However, what's different is the practice areas that they cover and the types of issues that they cover. So let's take a look at practical guidance. Here on the left-hand side under legal research, you will just click on practical guidance. And here we start with the practice areas that you can find. Also notice on the right-hand side, there are these tools and resources. So they have a state law comparison tool, similar to what we looked at in Westlaw. They have practice videos, automated templates, and resource kits. We're going to look at a little bit of those right now. Now, if you have an internship or maybe a job and the firm or the attorney that you work with, they work in one of these specific areas of law, it'd be good to take a look specifically at what is in practical guidance. For today, we're just going to do a quick search and just kind of poke around to see what the documents look like. So for this example, I'm going to say that my supervising attorney, who is in Massachusetts, wants me to draft a durable power of attorney document for their client. All right. So some things that we can do. First, I'm going to narrow by the practice area. So let me go into trust and estates. Now at this point, I could go down here and you can browse by state and federal, but instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter my search terms. So let's do durable within 5 of power within 5 of attorney. We're going to hit our search button. You can see the types of practical guidance they have. They have practice notes, they have templates and clauses, checklists and articles. The first thing I really want to do though is I want to go down to jurisdiction and I want to make sure that I'm just looking at Massachusetts specific documents. Okay, so now we only have 37 documents to look at. That's not bad. And remember, our supervising attorney wants us to draft something. So really what we need is a template. Okay, so here we have the first result is a power of attorney, durable or general for mass. I'm going to click in it so we can take a look at and see what it looks like. All right. So that you can see is that this is an automated template. In other words, you can build your document, you can open the form in Word, and then go ahead and type in your specific, make it for your specific needs. Let's scroll a little bit and I'm going to show you some of the things that, some of the bells and whistles. Here you can see there's optional clauses. So if you click in here, this is an optional preamble. There are also these drafting notes. So this is the attorney just giving you some guidance. Here's a drafting note for the introductory clause. And then it gives you an optional clause as well. I also want to bring your attention over here to the right. So this is updated by a specific firm, but what you really want to look is for this maintained in green. That means that it's current as of May 31st, 2025, but it means that attorneys are continuously looking at this document and updating it to make sure that it is still good. Also around the right-hand side, you'll see related content. I'm going to click on that so you can kind of see what other documents are available that are related to durable power of attorney. So there are 5 practice notes. There's 2 forms, clauses, or checklists, and then there's 8 pieces of statute or legislation. So I'm going to click on the practice notes so we can take a look at those. So here we have powers of attorney, tax considerations and estate planning, fiduciary appointments. I'm just going to click on the first one and see what the practice note has to specifically say about durable power of attorney. Now, up top is your table of contents. This is also hyperlinked, so you can go from section to section easily. Notice you see that green maintained again, so important to make sure that this is an up-to-date practice note. It gives you the scope. So this practice note provides information on powers of attorney in Massachusetts. Another thing, if it's a very large document, you can search the document for your specific keyword. And then it will highlight it for you. So notice all terms. We can just put it for green for durable. Also hyperlinked, you'll see additional materials. So here, for a full list of key content, creating an estate plan for individual with a spouse residing in Massachusetts. See this estate plan for individual spouse. It's a resource kit. Also, you'll see the power of attorney form. That's what we were looking at before. That's embedded into this document. So it's really great. You can just do a right click and then open it in a new tab. And here you'll see the section specifically about durable power of attorney. So before you draft a document, if you need to read up, this gives you a great, easy to use explainer. Okay, so that is a quick trip into Lexis's practical guidance. Now, I also want to mention that those are not the only places that you can get practitioner materials. A lot of secondary sources have practical practice manuals that attorneys use every day. So here in Westlaw, I just went into secondary sources. You could use texts and treatises because that's what it is. It's a text or a treatise. You can look by state or by topic. So for instance, for Massachusetts, we would click into Massachusetts. And then it's going to give us a list of titles. You can filter by topic or publication type, or you can just put in a keyword search. Remember to use your terms and connectors for that great Boolean search. This one was, let me look again. Oh, yes. Terminate within 10 of commercial, within 10 of lease. So we have 32 documents. You can use your limiters on the left-hand side, either by publication type. So we probably don't want law reviews and journals, but we could use texts and treatises. We could do it by form type. So there's one that's a text form. You could do it by date. We've already done the jurisdiction, which is Massachusetts, and we can apply. And that will take our results down to 18. You can do the same thing in Lexis by just once again clicking on secondary materials. Now they break it up on their content page, which I kind of like. So I'm going to click on treatises and guides. At this point, you can either pick a state or a practice area. I'm going to pick Massachusetts. It gives you a title search depending upon the subject area. So they put them in, they kind of organize it by subject area, which is really nice. Or you can just go ahead and do a search. This was durable. Within 5, power within 5 of attorney. That gave us 680 documents, which is a lot. So you can search within results, you can add additional terms, you can take a peek at the jurisdiction. We're still in Massachusetts, which is great. There's practice areas and topics, so I probably want to stay in a state. And another nice feature here in Lexis is this keyword. So we could put in power of attorney and durable. Oh, I put conservatorship by accident. Sorry about that. There we go. And here you'll see Massachusetts Basic Practice Manual, drafting simple wills and trusts, durable power of attorney and healthcare proxy. So this is on point. Here we have durable power of attorney through Massachusetts elder law. These are all just secondary sources, practice manuals that can help you understand it from a practitioner perspective. Okay. So I'm going to stop there. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. But once again, if you have any questions, I'm just going back to our library website. Our contact information is on the library website. If there are any additional questions, feel free to reach out. And if not, I will hope to see you next week.